Hi again, this is Professor Innes, and once again I'm using my phone to give the some helpful hints video for this particular module. So this module, you're going to be starting your conversation, your analysis of Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. We often refer to it as deontology, in the sense that it's a moral argument that argues that we should concentrate our moral investigation, our ethical investigation, into the act itself, into saying that the act is something which we should consider as being important when thinking about if something is moral or immoral. So, for example, if I say lying is wrong, I'm saying lying is wrong in and of itself, regardless of the consequence. So therefore, we're treating the act of telling the truth as being something in and of itself that is worthwhile. So if I tell a lie, tell a child that Father Christmas exists, that would be considered as wrong because we consider categorically that lying is wrong, regardless of whether or not this gives the child joy or makes Christmas really special. It's the fact you've told a lie. Now, the consequences are of no bearing. It's the lying which we're looking at here. Now, with this, as I've just mentioned with Immanuel Kant, there is a sense of there being a category. So often it's referred to as a categorical imperative. Therefore, it is needed that you view the category and analyze all those aspects of these moral actions which belong to that category. So therefore, if we're saying that lying is wrong, then all acts of lying are wrong. So we have to therefore be careful that when we talk to somebody else, that we tell the truth, and we think to ourselves, what is a lie and what is not a lie? Sometimes we think that embellishing the truth or avoiding the truth is something that's not our responsibility. But if it's considered to be misleading or not the truth, then we might have to say it's a lie. So do we say that advertisers are liars, and therefore what they do is immoral? So every time we see an advertisement, we know that they're exaggerating, we know that they're not telling the truth, but still they are exaggerating, they're not telling the truth. So do we consider their actions to be immoral as a result of that? So we can think about anything within that particular category. Now, when we're thinking about the category, we think about anything. So in this case, I was talking about lying. We can think about killing. We can think about any moral action whatsoever being in this category, and we have to think to ourselves here: does it belong in this category of that which I should not do? Namely, again, if you're talking about lying, embellishing the truth, therefore making it not the truth. Is that a lie? So one has to be very careful here. And again, you're the moral agent. As far as Kant is concerned, we possess autonomy, we possess free will, which makes us responsible, free and responsible for our actions. It's nobody else. We're the one talking, we're the one telling people certain things. So we have got to be careful of what we are saying as far as being the truth or not the truth. So this is of great importance as far as us as moral autonomous agents. And for Kant, this is of great importance for us as human beings, because it makes us fully human. So every time I talk to somebody and I tell them something, and I'm thinking about, is this the truth or not the truth? I'm acting like this full human being, this autonomous individual, which is of great importance to us as human beings, because we like to think ourselves as being in control of ourselves. So there we have it. We've got this freedom, and with this freedom we have that responsibility. Right. We use logic. dare we say, that what I used when talking about telling the lie, I think to myself, does telling a child that Santa Claus exists possess the same logical equivalence, therefore reason, as saying that they've got $1,000 waiting for them at home? So for the child I lie about Father Christmas, and for the adult I say there's $1,000 for you when you get home, and there's no $1,000. I've just told a blatant lie. Now, are they both the same? We've got to think, if they are both the same, therefore we avoid them, so they have equal value. But we've got to do that ourselves individually. Nobody else is going to do it for us. If somebody else does it for us, then that makes us not moral. We're not moral agents, and we lose that identity as being self-driven individuals who can therefore set up our own moral way of thinking and act upon that way of thinking. So it's us doing the thinking. Right, so don't forget the two formulations. So act only according to that maxim by which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. So that's talking about the universality of moral action. That, if you do this, therefore tell a lie, it means you've made that lying universally acceptable, so therefore don't tell lies. And likewise, when we get to the second formulation, it says act so that you can treat humanity, and again that's everybody, whether in your own person or in that of another, always as an end and never as a means only. So therefore you've had that full original understanding about the universality of action, and then we apply this and say that all humanity is to be treated in accordance with this universal law, and that treatment is basically viewing them as ends in themselves and not a means to an end. So therefore, when I tell a child that they're Santa Claus, I'm doing this as a means to an end. I'm treating them as a means to an end to having a nice Christmas. Therefore, we all have a nice time when we see the children having lots of joy, and therefore it makes us joyful as well. But that's using people. So therefore, we have to be careful about this and just view them as ends. Therefore, they're autonomous thinking agents. Therefore, in this case, I guess we tell the child there is no Santa Claus, but we'll just pretend there is one so we can have a nice time. So that would not be lying. So we include people, as being all members of humanity, and they've got to be included in the action itself, and in this case not lie to. And you do that with all people. You're honest with them when it comes to telling the truth. But again, there are moral actions out there, thousands, tens of thousands in number. You just apply them to this categorical imperative. Right, so that's basically it. So remember, you've done a motivism, and with a motivism, we've said here that when it comes to moral action, it's down to your feelings to choose them. With Immanuel Kant, he's going to say this is not true. Yes, there's a subjective element. You are the ones making the choice here. But still, it is the case that you are applying it to an abstract category to make sure that it is morally acceptable. And thereafterwards, your emotions have got nothing to do with it. So there's no changing from one moment to the next. And there's no sense of saying here that I am only doing this because I think it to be the case. I'm doing this, according to Kant, because it is the right thing to do according to the categorical imperative, which I have done by all means, but still it means that I am the one doing the calculation. Right, so keep in mind that you've got consequentialism coming along afterwards. Now the consequentialist will say this is total nonsense, that when it comes to actions you must treat them as an end, and therefore there should be something at the end of the road here. Telling the truth may arrive at no moral good in practice. Yes, we're highly principled, yes, but telling the child there's no Santa Claus could ruin their Christmas. Therefore, what is the point of that? we've got a terrible Christmas, so therefore the consequences are dire. So the utilitarian might say, okay, we need to lie to children at Christmas because it brings along a great amount of good at the end of the day in practice. But you won't get to consequentialism till the next module. Okay, just keep me in touch. Right, okay, so everything's going well with the work. We're getting nice long answers, nice detail, and people are understanding the subject matter.